This is not your mother's middle-aged. No longer is waking up each day, living the wash, rinse, and repeat cycle acceptable. We have the life lessons, the relationships, the wins, and the losses with which to navigate to our highest self, without hesitation and without fear leading the way. We have been there and done that, and so we have so much to offer the world and each other. So join me on this journey, speaking to ordinary women doing extraordinary things for new insights, new ideas, new medical breakthroughs, and new life lessons. You will be inspired to find your best life here and now. My name is Wendy Charles Maguire, and this is your Second Wind podcast.
Second Wind. It has been a little while since I've recorded, as I'm starting to feel better from my Lyme disease, thank goodness. And I am working with some new modalities that I can't wait to share with you. In the meantime, I happen to do all the things and listen to all the people and read all the books. And Lea Beth was on Second Wind back in December 23 of 2020. She was one of the originals. And we did a whole thing about Lea Beth, how she came into her passion, her second wind, which is, what she does is she's a soul realignment specialist through reading of Akashic records. She's an energetic property clearer. She helps people understand who their angels are and their spirit guides and how to work with them. It's not woo-woo like you think, because Lea Beth's not woo-woo. And she came to me through a dear friend of both of ours who, without even knowing it, kind of enlisted her help to help her sell her home, which had some not so good things happening in it. And Lea Beth walked in and fixed it, and then it sold. And then my friend was sold, so to speak. Our friend Gail Brees, as a matter of fact. So anyhow, Lea Beth sends out something called the Earth Angel Tools, and it's a newsletter, and we'll give you all the information on how you can get that every couple weeks, every month from Lea Beth. And I was reading it, and we are in something called right now it's August 1st of 2022. And we have a new moon, apparently. And I like things that are new, so that's good. And also, I have a whole new energy hitting me all of a sudden in the last week or so. And right now, people are talking about getting back to school. We're ramping up the restaurants again. We're getting all the calls again for the private rooms. And everybody seems to be coming back from their vacations and back from whatever they were doing and starting up with whatever they need to be doing in their real lives, so to speak. So I asked Lea Beth if she would come on and talk about this particular newsletter that just came out, and also talk a little bit about the book she's writing and why. Doesn't even have a name yet, but it's in the works. So that's really important. So welcome again, my friend Lea Beth, and thank you for coming back on the podcast.
Oh, it's so good to be here, Wendy. I am so happy to be here, and I just adore you, and so happy that things are going so well on your podcast.
Thank you so much.
So, I just love the concept too. So, because we all do second and third and fourth winds, but we'll work with second wind.
Yeah, but actually, as I recall, now that you said that, I think I had worked with you as I was dreaming this up, and then I called you and said, Lea Beth, I'm going to do the podcast. It's going to happen. What do you think? And you were, yeah, you definitely should. I'm feeling it. I'm hearing it. You definitely should do it. And I said, oh, good. Then you can be a guest.
Yeah. And I'm like, what?
So that's how all that happened.
I know. So anyway, I'm so happy to be here. I think what caught your eye on my newsletter was, well, the new moon, which is like 4 days past or whatever. But the energy of the new moon is always manifestation. When we're talking about the full moon, that's when you try to release, things, let go of things, even clean out closets or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime you can release an attitude or stuff, because we all have too much stuff, right? Then it just frees up your energy so that you can create your life in a better way. Okay. And
Okay.
so for the new moon, that's the manifestation. That's when you actually sit down and the energy is ideal for you to dream up what you want to do next.
Okay.
Or what it is that you want to create in your life, not over the next 5 years. And you can do that too, of course. You can do some visioning. But what do you want to create in your life this next week? What do I want to, get done? But I also want to be creative. You set your intentions. And so the new moon is always a good time to set your intentions. And this was a particularly powerful one. The deal is that there's a thing called the Lion's Gate, where, I know you've heard people talking about, gee whiz, we have all this ascension energy. And what the heck is that? Right?
What is that?
Yeah. Well, we're all ascending into a more spiritually based human being, a more hybrid being, where we actually really trust our inner knowingness, our intuition, our little gut feelings, our nudgings, and our lives were meant to be easy. Okay.
Yeah.
And fun. And, we've kind of mucked about in our lives and made them hard and I've got to slog through this and all that sort of thing.
Right.
Right. But so what we do, we were meant to align with who we are at soul level. And so, and in fact, since you did soul realignment a couple of years ago, I've changed it up some, and I do the basic soul realignment reading in 2 sessions because it was too much information all at once. And so for the first session, I literally have a new worksheet that is, what are your superpowers? What are your spiritual superpowers?
Okay.
Helps you remember who you are at soul level, because none of us grew up saying, oh, that's your gift. Instead it's like, oh no, you need to get a good education and do math and science and history and, home ec and whatever, right? You need to be well-rounded. Well, actually, our souls are specialists. And so it's better if you do you. And if you learn how to do you, first you have to know who you are, right?
Yeah,
and
that would make sense.
Yeah, and then when you do know who you are, and you'll know what positive choices are and what negative choices are based on who you are. Okay. So, and anyway, what I'm getting at is our lives were meant to be easy, and we've made them a lot harder than they need to be.
I totally agree with you.
Choices we make.
Yeah.
Okay. And, we do it. A lot of times we've done it ignorantly because we just didn't know who we were. So that's why I'm so passionate about everybody should do soul realignment. Right?
Yeah. And I guess if I haven't done mine in a couple of years, things have changed so dramatically.
They have.
For me, especially like everything I have been going through, I definitely need to re-up that. I think. And this it sounds a little bit like following your what do you call that? The numbers, if you're the different numbers you are, your number path, that kind of, it's all kind of, every time I go down these rabbit holes with different people doing different modalities, it all points to the same thing.
It really does. I mean, it's a different way of a different angle of looking at it. And you need to find the angle that fits you the best, right?
Right.
I mean,
well, I just like them all.
I know. I get it. But, really, it's so important to know who you are, what your superpowers are, what blocks and restrictions you powerfully created that are keeping you, on the hamster wheel.
Right.
And so, but right now with this Lion's Gate, like I said, 8/8/22 is the strongest set of energies that are coming through, but it's like a 3-week segment, right?
But wait. Explain Lion's Gate. What does that mean?
Well, it's called Lion's Gate because it's during Leo.
Okay.
When the sun is in Leo, and I'm a Leo, the sun's in Leo, and the energies that come through from the central sun, not our sun, but the, galaxy, well, actually, universe, central sun, it's like more potent. Okay. And so everything, how everything's been speeding up anyway, right? Not just because we're getting older, but it's speeding up because everything's getting faster and faster.
It is. But why?
Well, we need to choose not to react to these external things. We need to absorb the additional energy and we're raising our frequencies too, so that we can be a better blend of spiritual being and human being, right?
Okay.
Hybrid. And we have to learn how to be at peace and to be quiet within that, and to understand that we are divine beings having a human experience, and that we choose what our experience is going to be.
It's really interesting that you're saying that, because I was listening to a book today while I was walking, The Biology of Belief by Bruce H. Lipton. And I'm at a section in the book. I had stopped listening to it for a while, and then I started listening to near-death experience stuff and having you on, and it's just weird how everything, is it weird? I don't know. How everything comes together, right? Everything oh, well, I just heard that. Oh, well, that makes sense. Oh, you're the third person to say that to me, that kind of thing. And in this part where I happened to just land on today, he was talking about how we as organisms have to evolve now. That we always have done that, but now we are evolving into as you're saying, ascending into being more open and looking at every individual as has a purpose and is a divine energy, rather than some people aren't good and some people are bad, and whatever it is we do. And that the divine light will show up again when that happens. I just thought it was really interesting from a scientific, that's where he's coming from. And it's interesting that you're saying that too, that we're evolving. We're going into another energetic field, correct?
We really are. In fact, even though we don't look that different,
right?
Even our DNA structure is changing. I mean, we're becoming more who we were engineered to be. Right?
Okay.
So we were always designed to be this divine human hybrid. Okay. With a big emphasis on the divine. Things are, several people say that the golden age of Atlantis is coming back. Okay. The energy of that, and the way that we honored each other and treated each other as divine beings. But the thing is, we have to remember that each one of us is a divine being, and we have to really get in touch with our own divinity. We can't do something for somebody else. They have to do it themselves.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so when I talk about setting intentions, it's critically important that you understand you can do your life by accident and let things happen to you, right?
Right.
Or you can choose. You can say, well, this is the path I want, although remember, don't micromanage it. Okay? So in other words, you want to make sure that you have an idea of what you want to do in your life, what you would like to see happen, and always say this or something better. Right?
Right. It's kind of along the lines of two things that I have come up with for myself were having zero expectations ever on anything, right? And the second one is being fluid. That's my word of the summer. I think I'm going to put it on a t-shirt or something.
Just be fluid.
For real, because I turn around and I say it's this big joke in my family. I'm like, you know what you need to do. And everybody's like, oh, what, Wendy? Just be fluid. I'm like, yes. Just be fluid. You want me to do what? Okay, I'm fluid, right?
Right.
So I think that goes in line with what you're saying.
Well, it does. The thing is that sometimes, we want to see every single step from conception to launch of whatever we're doing, right? And sometimes, our angels and guides actually have a better path for us, and we have to trust, right? That as long as we set our intentions, because we are divine beings, okay? And as long as we set our intentions, then we have a whole staff of angels and guides to help us. That's where a lot of that inner nudging or inner knowing or intuition comes from. They're like, oh, Lea Beth, over there. Look over there. They're going to help you with this, or that's the book you needed to check on, or whatever, right?
Interesting, yes.
And so we have a whole staff to help us. They won't tell us what to do. Because we are the boss.
And we have choice.
Yep. And my life is my life, and your life is your life. And so in any case, you set your intention, and somebody had said, the how is none of my business.
Right.
I think Paulette Barrett says that. She said, just set your intention, which is absolutely true. Set your intention, and then the universe lines up the how, And
then you just got to be fluid to accept, take in, and just kind of go with whatever comes forward.
Right.
Right.
And don't sit there with going la, 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 right? Okay, I want answers and I want them now. La, 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 la. Yeah, don't do that. You have to pay attention. Okay. And in fact, the thing is that spirit can be very subtle and feathery quiet. And that's why I'm writing the book about different tools.
Okay.
Well, what are some spiritual tools? How can you get in touch with your guides and angels and your own inner knowingness? And there's I have like 25 different tools.
Oh, that's so cool. So in regards to this Lion's Gate,
I'm sorry. Yes. Okay.
No. I'm just curious. In regards to, I'm looking at the sky right now, and there's all these clouds, and there's this one little circle with a patch of blue sky that looks deep into some other clouds. That's really weird. Just caught my eye right now while we're speaking. Interesting. But in regards to this Lion's Gate thing, and setting our intentions. How does that work with this era that we're in, this thing that we're in right now?
Okay. Well, there's just additional energy coming so that you can use it to manifest whatever you want. Okay.
So universe is just providing like a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Amplification of something that's already there, just is more.
Here's a little bit more energy for you. Okay.
It's a turbo boost on your
It is.
Volkswagen.
Way to put it.
Okay.
So it's a turbo boost, which is very cool. Now, some people, myself included, sometimes don't always use it very well. Sometimes you start looking around and just start trying to do like 5 things at once. And, you're a little frenetic because you're like, oh, I need to get going. I need to get this done and this done and this done. And that's where you need to get quiet.
Okay.
And go, okay, I can't do everything at this instant. So what's the most important thing? What's the thing that makes my heart sing?
So I'm in that right now. I'm circling all these little things that need to get done. And every day I'm still not doing them. But they're there and I know they're big deals.
Yeah.
And is that, but I'm feeling such energy to do it. Is that part of the new moon? And I just am not putting it into.
Well, part of the lion's gate. Part of the lion's gate.
Part of the lion's gate. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest for someone that might be feeling a bit like me and has like, oh, I have so many things I want to get done, things that I know are going to be positive, have positive results at the end. Right? So, what kind of tools would you suggest while this lion's gate is open to us?
Okay. Well, one of the things that I do is I'm a big list maker.
List.
Okay. So, because I know that every problem feels and sounds so much bigger when it's just rattling around in your head. And as soon as you write it out on paper, either just the essence of what it is, or you can sit down and write out a whole paragraph about, what's going on. Okay. As soon as you do that, all of a sudden you can look at that and go, oh, that's not so bad. Right? It's not as big, mean, and nasty as I thought it was, as my imagination was making it. Right. And then if, let's say that you've got 8-10 projects that you want to do and you love all of them.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Right. So the best thing to do is to write them all down. And then, me, I use my pendulum. And since my video's frozen, I can't even tell if you can see it. But
I can see it.
Okay. So I use my pendulum, which connects.
Wait, hold it up a little higher so I can see the whole thing. Ooh, so that's pretty.
Thank you. It connects me to my guides and angels based on my intention. Remember, you're a divine being. So you want to just say, I'm going to work with my pendulum. This is my favorite earth angel tool.
Really?
Spirit tool. My pendulum. We all get little hits of intuition. We all get, all sorts of info, and I use oracle cards. In fact, I'm writing an oracle card deck, as a matter of fact, Wendy.
Ooh, okay.
But my very favorite tool is a pendulum. Okay. And because it's so nice, and like I said, I can't tell what this is doing, but it's so nice for me to be able to say, well, is the answer to this question yes or no? So show me a no. And that's
what's a no look like?
That's what a no looks like for me. It's back and forth like this for me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And a yes.
So you decide ahead of time what your yes looks like and what your no looks like.
Right.
For your pendulum.
My yes is a circle, either direction.
Okay.
Okay. And so now obviously a pendulum is not incredibly verbose. It will only tell you yes or no, that will only answer yes or no questions. Right? You have to get really good at asking good, clear questions, because your angels and guides are kind of like your computer. They will only answer the question you actually asked, not the one you meant to ask or that you thought you were asking.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So you have to be very clear about how you're going to ask the questions. But we've kind of veered away. We were talking about the Lion's Gate. Just understand that the Lion's Gate energy just means that you do have more energy to do things. So make a list of the things that you want to do, and there is no right or wrong, Wendy. Okay?
Right.
It's your life. It's your choice. So look at a couple of them, and maybe even take your pendulum or whatever and say, which is the first one I should work on? You can also just look at it and ask yourself directly, which one am I most drawn to do? Because that's
in your
the one
newsletter
that has the most passion.
Yeah, and in your newsletter you say now is the time to think of all the things that you might want to do, and sit down with your favorite pen and paper and actually write down some of the things that may have been kicking around in your head, that now is the time to get them out on the paper and look at them.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And one of the things you say in this newsletter is it becomes sort of your playlist, and within this playlist there's no room for you to second guess or doubt yourself.
No. Well, I mean, just the thing is, our egos can be big bullies.
For sure.
Because, I mean, honestly, we as a species have survived because we have these built-in survival mechanisms, right? And so, a lot of times our ego is all about keeping the status quo, keeping us safe, right? And even if changing your diet is a good thing, your ego is going to say, oh, no, that's different. What are we doing? Stop that. Right?
Yeah.
And so we all do that. And if you instead say, oh, well, I'm just playing around with some ideas, right? Then your ego isn't going to go crazy and go, who are you to do that? What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. You can't do that. You don't have the degree. You're not smart enough. You're not educated enough, whatever, right?
It's like putting your mom off when she tells you to get out of the pool.
Yes.
Can I just have 5 more minutes?
Yeah.
And then she'll leave you alone for 5 more minutes.
Exactly. And so if you're telling your ego, I'm just playing with this. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with it. I'm with this idea. As long as you make it play, your ego is like, oh, okay, go ahead and swim for 5 minutes.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Right? So that's why I call it a playlist.
Oh, okay.
In fact, the book that I'm writing has a lot of my story in it. But it also, I have a workbook that goes with it. And I've decided to name it a playbook.
Oh, I like it. Instead of workbook.
Instead of a workbook. And it's talking about all the different tools, spiritual tools that you can use, like oracle cards, like your pendulum, like meditation, like, oddly enough, driving alone in your car without the radio on. Stuff like that. There's all kinds, and seeing signs from your loved ones, and making a journal. I call journaling your body of proof.
Huh. Okay.
Because so many of us, we're all psychic to different degrees, right? But we all have that equipment installed, right? And so the more you use it, the better it works. And you have to acknowledge it. Because even me, I will have something happen and I'll go, oh, yeah, that was a visitation, or, oh, yeah, that was a sign. And then if I don't write it down, then I will talk myself out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I will say,
right.
2 days later, I'll go, oh, yeah, nah, that wasn't me. I mean, boy, do I have a big imagination, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
And so, that's actually one of your spiritual tools, is to start journaling anything that has happened to you.
Give an example, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. So when my dad passed away, which has been now 11 years, that really broke me up a lot. And so, but you know how you do, you grieve and then you're okay. And then you grieve and then you're okay. And so I was driving down the road one day and I just went, and I actually think I had my dad's ashes in the seat next to me.
Okay.
Well, we kind of took Daddy around for a road trip and then, buried him. But in any case, I think I may have even had his ashes in the car. I'm not even sure. I'm like, Daddy, I really miss you. I just, wish I could talk to you. Right. Or hear from you again. And I know that you're right there, but send me some sort of sign. And literally, I drive a block. Okay. Yeah, I'm in my car. I drive a block. Okay. And at a stop sign, I look up. I don't look at license plates necessarily. Okay. But I looked at the license plate in front of me and it said GWB 444. My dad's initials are GWB, and 444 is the angel code. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, I didn't make that up. I'm seeing it,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
you can't deny that.
That kind of thing, right?
Okay.
So,
but you have to be paying attention. You need to look at that.
Exactly. You have to pay attention. And then you have to acknowledge that it actually really happened.
Okay, so really weird, Lea Beth. So you and I are talking.
Yes.
And while you're talking, I remembered how you said, my dad. I got a little emotional while you were talking about your dad and that you wanted to talk to him. And I'm like, oh, I was just thinking that the other day. I'd really like to talk to my dad. And what he would think about me suddenly going off all my medicine and all this stuff and trying something different. And so I'm thinking that a little bit while you're talking, but I'm still paying attention to you. Don't think I'm not paying attention.
Oh, sure, Wendy. No, I'm just.
But one of the things you told me was, well, your dad, he shows up as like a yellow butterfly.
Oh.
Way back when. And I'm like, all right. Like, it doesn't really seem like my dad would want to do that. That's kind of weird. So I'm sitting here and you're talking and I look up and a yellow freaking butterfly flew up into the window and then flew away. That just happened. But I'm like, And
that's weird. You're already just rationalizing it, right?
Well, because I've never seen a butterfly do that before. And I sit at this window a lot because this is where I do all my work.
Right.
And I've had a bunch of butterflies that I've seen recently that have been like blue or dark blue. But this happened to be a yellow one. It was kind of contorted a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, it was very strange. And so I don't know. Is that a freaking sign? I don't know.
Well, it feels like it, but it's up to you.
I feel like it. It's up to me.
It's up to you because you are your own spiritual authority, Wendy.
Yeah. And I've had people on that have said, you can ask for signs. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay.
And then
But you
pay
can't put a
attention.
time frame on it.
Then pay attention. Don't do the la la la, you know.
But also don't expect it to happen the minute you ask, right?
No.
Okay.
Although I can tell you, the more that you believe it, not just hope, but you expect it, faster it seems to manifest.
And now with this new moon thing, is this a good time to ask for stuff because the energy's higher?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's
So
always
for missing somebody or whatever, now's a good time to figure that out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, one of the things you can do, Wendy, and this is actually one of my Earth Angel tool things too, is you can do a type of automatic or channeled writing. So, sit down and get real quiet and say, I want to talk to you again, Dad. Right. And set your intention that you're going to hear from your dad. And then you can sit down and write a question or write a paragraph saying, I miss you so much. I just would like, another visit with you. And then you'd say, is there anything you want me to know? And then I usually still use my dominant hand. Some people say, oh, use your non-dominant hand, but I can't read my writing, and that really bothers me. So you might just go, okay, write down, is there anything you want me to know? Or do you have a message for me? Something like that, right? And then you just sit and relax and breathe out and start writing. In fact, you might want to close your eyes and again visualize your dad, right? And get real quiet and still, and then just write. Okay? And your ego, remember that thing that we had to work around on playlists? Your ego will be yelling at you saying, you're just making all this up.
This is a waste of time. Don't do
that. What a waste
this.
of time, blah, blah, blah. But keep writing and write until you're done. Okay, until it feels complete.
Okay.
Do not read it right then.
Okay.
Okay, because you're too into it. Okay. Instead, you walk away and come back in half an hour, or even overnight. Right? And you read it and you go, oh, that wasn't me. Oh my gosh, that was a letter from my dad.
Huh. Okay.
It's stunning.
Interesting.
It is
I'm gonna have to try it.
But when you're first writing it, your left brain is going to go, oh, sure, you just remember this time when your dad helped you teeter-totter, learn how to teeter-totter or ride the merry-go-round and blah, 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 and, but just keep writing. Just go, yeah, I know.
Keep writing anything that's just coming.
Anything that comes in. But like I said, don't read it right then because you're still, you're still with your left brain saying, you're just making this.
You're doubting,
up,
right?
And then when you go back and read it, that's when it's amazing.
Okay.
Because you go, oh my God, I didn't write that. I mean, yes, I wrote it. It's in my handwriting. But, that was not from me. I would not. The thing that I found was that I would not have phrased some things exactly the way I did. That it was more along the lines of, like my father. Or, I do this automatic writing with angels and guides too. Right.
Okay.
And so I don't necessarily know their syntax, but I knew my father's syntax,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay.
start with that. And I know we've kind of gone off in the weeds. What do you want to pull back to?
Well, let me circle back around.
Okay.
So we write our playlist. We are open up to listening. We are thinking about things that we may want to do.
Mm-hmm.
We know that we have the energy right now to do that with this new moon. How long does this last?
Well, again, it's not just the new moon. The new moon symbolized the beginning of the Lion's Gate energy, which is like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So,
till the middle of August then. Yeah.
Oh, middle of August. Okay. So while we're in this time, and then right after, what are some action items we should consider besides writing the list? Is it putting stuff into play?
Sure, absolutely. Pick something that makes your heart sing. That is the yummiest.
Yummiest. Okay.
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 Whatever's the yummiest, and go with that.
Okay.
And it may not be what your logical mind is telling you is the most important thing to start with.
Right.
Okay.
Might not be what you thought you should do first.
Yeah.
Based on
and
your own criteria.
The should stuff,
The should stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Like maybe like for me, it would be go ahead and try painting on that easel you have over there and all the stuff that you keep saying you're going to do and you never do.
Right.
It could be that.
Right.
But when all the time I'm saying, no, I really should go do this, or I should go do that, or I should work on this, or I should sit over here or I should vacuum first. I should definitely vacuum first. Maybe I go ahead and try that.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for other people too, if they were, maybe I was going to go try a new yoga class, or I was going to go try doing something else. There's that butterfly came back.
Yeah.
Weird. And now's the time. Just sign up for the class and go.
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And just
take that action.
Fluid.
That one.
And have no expectations about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. Now.
Okay.
When this is ending in the middle of August, what happens then? Do we just stop doing what we're doing?
No, of course not.
So how do
it just means that you have more energetic resources right now. You feel more like doing it. Okay. So you can create momentum now.
Okay. We're a little more motivated to try.
Right.
Okay.
And
we had a latte.
Yeah. And
we had our
and celebrate your success.
Okay.
So many of us, I'm like at the front of the line, right? So many of us go, okay, I've got all 10 things checked off my list there. And you don't even go, wow, look at all.
Right. You're on to the next already. Right. You're already like, oh, well, now I can start this next list.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
No. Don't do that.
No. So celebrate,
Celebrate.
And do a little woohoo, happy dance, something. Right.
Yeah. Lea Beth, it's just like when people say, I'll say to someone, wow, I just walked this, or I just did this. And, it's just not what it used to be. And they'll be like, but Wendy, first of all, you should be really glad you did that. And 6 months ago, you couldn't even thought about doing that. Like, go ahead and celebrate what you just did instead of putting criteria on it. Like, it's not what it should be, or it's not good enough. How about you did it?
Yeah.
How about you just did it?
Yeah. No kidding.
You just done did it.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. Now, this book. Now, when we had talked back in 2020, well, at the end of 2020, we were talking about the book idea and you were kicking it around. And so where are you at now? Is this a different book? Is this the same book we were talking about back then? Or where have you come?
It's the same book. I think you have to go through a couple of dark nights of the soul. We're right? Where you're like, well, who am I to do this? You know? And then you allow yourself to get derailed by life.
Mm.
Right. And so I'm in the, editing phase, the final part of it. I'm just doing a few touch-ups on it, and then
Awesome.
It's a whole nother thing to, get it formatted and, figure out artwork and that sort of thing. But I finally feel some real momentum on it. So,
because you're in the Lion's Gate.
Yeah, maybe
Right.
so, but yeah, but
have your guides been helping you with this at all?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. What does that look like for you?
Well, actually, I will sit down to write and or edit or whatever, and I will sometimes find myself in my left brain. And so get a little too intellectual, and it's like, no. Remember to drop into your heart and speak your truth, and let your truth, the wisdom of the universe come through you.
Okay.
Okay.
So you get these signals.
Yeah. And a lot of times I do speak to, each of us has a, team of guides. I think we did yours too, of 5 or 6. Once you fire your negative guides, and that's a whole nother story. But you have a team of 5 or 6 guides that they are here to help you with different things in your life. Right? Mm-hmm. And so I frequently call on my healing guide, who was my Native American. I was Native American. He was my grandfather. And so he brings through such spiritual wisdom that I call on him a lot, even though I'm not even for writing. And then I call on my 5th energy guide, which is all about your throat chakra,
Okay. And when you call on them, what does that look like for someone interested in this?
Oh, okay. Well, and it's very simple, because, oh my gosh, I have been down the spiritual rabbit hole where people do these huge,
like a ceremony?
Ceremonies, thank you. I'm just like going blank. Just these huge rituals or ceremonies about calling in guides or clearing their property or whatever. And it's like, no. I'm a being. And what I say has to go. And I can do it fast. So I just sit down and say, okay, come on. Come on, guides and angels. Come on. Come on, grandfather. Come on, whoever. I need help. So help me get into the right state and think about exactly or be inspired to write what I need to write.
And how do you feel, or does something happen that makes you feel or know or trust that, say, the grandfather has come forward, or whichever your chakra guide has come through?
Oh, if you are used to talking to them. Okay. I mean, you can literally, well, hang on just a second, Wendy. I know I did this for you too, but I literally, and I can't see it because my video's frozen. So this is what I do for
it's a lot of writing.
My guide team. I know. But what this is literally almost like a snapshot of each of my 6 guides. Okay. And so, I can literally look at each one of those, and if you allow it, you can feel a different energy on each one. Okay? It's just like you feel a presence if you let yourself understand that it's going to be very, very subtle, and to believe what you're feeling.
Okay. You had told me I had a guide. Her name was Mary. And yesterday, it's so funny too. Yesterday or a couple of days ago, before I even thought to contact you, I was walking and I was like, I should probably ask Mary about this whole thing I'm doing.
I love it.
I said it out loud. I'm like, okay, so this Mary,
oh yeah,
whoever you may be, you are supposed to be guiding me, and that's about as far as I got with it.
Okay.
I think a car drove by or something.
Well, one thing to remember is your guides never tell you what to do.
Okay, so that's, you said that.
Right.
But at the same time, I think we all expect an answer.
Oh, I know. Well, we all just go, oh God, just tell me what to do. I'll show up, but what do I do? And it's like, no. It's your life. What do you want? Okay. And then your team will go, oh, Wendy, what do you want to do about that? Just tell us, what's your intention? And then they will help line up the right things. Okay.
And that's setting your intentions, is knowing kind of where you want to get.
Right.
So that's why the person I'm going to be working with for my health, he said, I would like you to do a vision board.
There you go. Perfect.
Of what you want to see happen.
Yeah.
Is it kind of the same idea?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It gives you a visual.
Okay. So you're almost done with this book.
Yep.
And again, I could talk to you forever. We obviously have to do another session.
Absolutely.
We'll have to do that. How do people, because you're so approachable, you're so easy to talk to, and you're so genuine and so caring.
Oh, thank you.
When someone meets with you, it's so true though. When someone, makes an appointment with you, calls, and you have the call, it's just so easy. And, you can stop Lea Beth, as I did in this interview, a million times and ask her questions. Well, I don't understand that. Or why do you think that? Or whatever. And she's perfectly happy to answer all your questions, which is refreshing and also needed if this is a whole different area. And a lot of times, as you said, when you're asking questions about the unknown, and a lot of it's the trusting of it, it's okay to ask the questions, and it's good to be open and not worry about judgment. And that's, you provide that. So that's it's true though. How can people get in touch with you? What should they do?
Well,
like for example, the newsletter, just simple steps is the newsletter. How would somebody sign up for that?
Well, and I have to make sure that the link works, but
we'll get it working.
It'll
work by the time this comes
We'll
out.
pretend it works right now. Not 100% sure it does, but I'll double check. You go to Earth Angel Tools, and on my website, down at the bottom, it says sign up for my newsletter. And that's all.
Easy peasy. Okay. Yep. And how do people get in touch with you to book a session with you and find out? Because you do now. So just so my audience knows, if you hadn't listened to her episode from December 23rd, 2020, Lea Beth since then has spoken to my husband, and he had a really weird experience that I didn't even realize happened in our home in Connecticut. And turned out that this property we were sitting on, even though we are not there anymore and haven't been there in years, she was able to uncover it was a portal for some not so good things. And one of the not so good things showed itself to Frank. And Frank, if anybody knows my husband, he is, black and white, football coach, hit him hard or don't go out on the field kind of guy. I don't want to, no touchy feely. No, you either did it or you didn't. That's the kind of guy he is.
Right.
And I was not around. I was not allowed to listen to your call. And he came back in and I go, so what'd you think? I kind of thought he was going to go, oh yeah, you just set me up. It was ridiculous. I just expected that to be his response. And, I was like, well, okay, we tried. He came in and goes, that was good. That was good. And that was the end of that conversation, but I took it as a win.
But how cool. Yeah, I didn't know that.
How cool.
Thank you for
Yeah. So anytime I've spoken to you since, he hasn't said a word about it. So that's good. It's validation, in other words. So for anyone wanting to do property clearing, or you just feel funny when you go into someone's house, or anything that is bugging you, or your chakras, if you feel like something's off, you just don't know what it is. It could be you have a blockage in your energies of your chakras. And, I've had Reiki healers on who talk about that as well. So what should people do to find you in that regard?
Okay. Well, they can still go to earthangeltools.com. You are welcome to email me directly. Okay. Either, like I said, through the website or at Lea Beth, LEABETH, at me.com.
Yes.
Easy peasy. So
easy peasy.
Yeah. On my website, I do have a link to book a session, but I also, a lot of times I prefer to talk to you to book the session, or email back and forth, right? About, I want to do a soul realignment reading, what do you have available, kind of thing. Because I'm not good about keeping my calendar updated on my website. So I apologize right now, but we'll get you in.
Yeah. And you do it quickly too.
Yeah.
And I know you're super busy, and you're able to accommodate people's schedules. So that's important. So as we wrap this up, sweet lady, what are a couple things to leave us with as we go about our day now?
Well, one of the things that I like to remind people is to make sure that we were just talking about chakras. And the thing is that everybody has an energy anatomy. You don't just have a physical anatomy.
Right.
You have an energy anatomy that is, the chakras. And the chakras allow your body, well, the chakras actually anchor your soul into your body, okay? And they provide vital force energy to animate your body. Okay? And so it's incredibly important that your chakras be functioning well. Okay? And literally, I have done healings on people. I do a chakra reading too, by the way, where I can measure using my pendulum, my favorite tool. I can measure what level your chakras are functioning at. Now, ideally, they're all functioning at 100%. But I have helped some extremely ill people who are like 10% functioning on their first chakra. Well, they're not even in their body, and for you to really embrace vibrant health, you have to be in your body. Okay. And your chakras need to be functioning. I have not really found, I found a chakra meditation years ago, and I cannot find it again.
Okay.
I may have to semi-plagiarize it and create it myself. I have looked and looked and looked and looked, but it talks about visualizing each chakra, the color of each chakra, and seeing it, become like your root chakra should be red, right? And it should be this beautiful ruby red, and it should be like a spinning, well, for visualization, a spinning ball, okay? Like a crystal sphere. And sometimes if you look at in your mind's eye your chakras, you'll go, oh, that one's kind of muddy, or that one's got dark flecks on it, and all you do is bring white light down through your body to that chakra and keep adding white light until it clears up. Okay. And you can do that for all of your body, your 7 embodied chakras. And I also deal with the one that's about a foot above your head, which is your chakra. And if those are in good working order, and then your health cannot help but to improve. Okay? You cannot help but to feel better. Okay? So I tell people to go Google a chakra clearing, and for God's sakes, don't sit there for an hour. I can't do that, but sit there, find one that's 10 or 15 minutes long, a guided meditation where you visualize each of your chakras and you send it energy and love, right? And that will help you get back in your body.
Okay. Interesting side note. When we met, eventually we ended up working on the chakra with me.
Right.
About a year ago.
I think it was.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And you had even, I think you said, Wendy, you're not really in your body.
Yeah.
You're kind of floating outside. I think it was my second chakra or something. I forget.
I don't remember.
And I don't remember. And that was probably, I was probably I had a Lyme fever, relapsing tick fever in my body already.
Right.
And I had already been fighting that for a long time, not knowing. And it wasn't until I got bit again that I ended up with the actual co-infections. And then we saw the relapsing on the testing I finally got, that I've had since I was like 12.
Oh my God.
So it's interesting that, and I've battled health issues on and off that, nobody would ever say I did, but always having issues with my stomach or being able to go to the bathroom or just stupid stuff, headaches, just come and go stuff, weird stuff. And now that you said that, it's so interesting because you had said you're not really in your body. And so you told me if you're not in your body, you can't heal your body.
Right. Because your body doesn't have enough. It's like saying, okay, well, I'll eat, but I'm not going to drink any water. Well, that's a recipe for disaster. So same thing on this, you need to feed your body energy too.
So that probably everybody should understand where they're at. You're like a plant in the soil. Like, what's your condition?
Understand that we do fluctuate, obviously.
Right. Obviously. Right. Yeah.
But, even me, sometimes if I've allowed myself to get sick, I can sit down and go, I should probably check my chakras. And I'm like, oh, great. And usually I don't go down very low anymore, right? Because I know better. But, if I'm like at 60, 65% in my first chakra, I'm like, oh, I got my feet pulled up. I'm not in my body, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing to remember is that your chakras, like I said, are there to animate your body and to, fuse your soul with your human body. And when we pass away, and I have actually seen this happen, when we pass away, what happens is the lower, chakras stop functioning and they dissolve. And your whole soul flushes then out your crown chakra.
Oh, wow.
Away. Okay? So you want to be, if you're going to be here, then be here.
Yes.
Be fully in your body.
Yeah. Interesting. So I don't think it's a choice anybody makes. I think it just...
Well, they don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Weird.
There is a fabulous book for healers called Hands of Light Healing. Barbara Ann Brennan, and she actually has a bunch of exercises for getting you into your body. I mean, for activating different chakras. And there's a bunch of books about chakras, so pick one. But I would mostly tell people to Google a guided meditation for your chakras.
Okay.
And just, like I said, don't spend an hour doing it or you're going to fall asleep,
Right, right.
Do a 10 or 15 minute chakra meditation, guided chakra meditation. And it's going to be, it will, if you do it, you should be able to tell a little bit of a difference. Okay. You may feel more rested. It won't be like, oh, got that third chakra clicked in now. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. But if you're really, really in your body, that's important.
Okay. That is really good advice. Anything else? Words of wisdom as we move on?
Not that I can think of, other than, we all, I do. Okay.
I know you do.
We all showed up at this time on purpose. Mm-hmm. We all showed up to raise the consciousness of the human race, to be the human soul hybrid. And I haven't picked out a good name for that, okay? But we all need to be, we're all spiritual warriors. And so we all heed the call in different ways and feel it in different ways and different times, but you're here on purpose.
And meaning you have a purpose.
Well, yeah. Your purpose is you chose to be here to help the whole earth ascend into a kinder, gentler, more spiritual place.
And it's important that we not let life happen to us, that we actually intentionally set out.
Right.
So that we can fulfill that purpose.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bringing it all together.
Yep.
And just like that, we circle back.
We did.
I love it.
Yeah. And you are so awesome, Wendy. Thank you.
Oh, no, you are. But thank you. And I feel better already just speaking to you. And I hope that everyone listening got something out of it today that they have a good takeaway with. And thank you for your time, Lea Beth.
Oh,
I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing this.
Of course. And until next time, breathe in your second wind.
Thank you for listening today. I hope that something you heard made you smile, made you think, and made you feel. If these incredible stories empowered you, awakened you, or left you feeling inspired, make sure to share with a friend and write us a review on iTunes so we can continue to change lives through this content. Make sure you tag us while you're listening on our Facebook group, My Second Wind, or hit the link in the show notes to join the conversation. Until next time, go ahead and breathe in your second wind.